All right, I'd like to welcome all of our franchise brokers partners because I'm excited to share with you a unique concept in the franchise world that's taking the franchise industry by storm. And that's the overview of dimensional search that actually participates in the recruiting and staffing marketplace. I'm Jon Bartos, the Chief Operating Officer. I'm joined by our Managing Director, Jeff Carmean, and we're here to share with you the great news about dimensional search. Now, before we get too crazy and into this, Jeff, let's talk about the business problem that we resolve in the marketplace.
Yeah, again, John, the biggest problem that our franchise owners, clients have is simply finding the best talent in the marketplace. And part of that problem is that when they want to kind of keep that function inside, use their own internal resources, they're tapping into the wrong pool. You know, only about 15 to 20% of all candidates out there are either unhappily employed, unemployed, or underemployed. And those are the people that are looking, they're on the job boards. But the vast majority of the candidate population doesn't exist on the job board. So they never really see that, you know, that the company is actually looking for a particular position to be filled.
So it's interesting. We help people find people for their mission critical roles, but how big is this industry?
It's massive. It's massive. It's nearly $1 trillion industry. And part of what feeds into that mission critical problem that companies have is we have, you know, a 50-year low in unemployment, you know, less than 4%. We've got a high, you know, employee participation rate. And when you've got that, you know, you've got people that are gainfully employed. So like I said before, they're not looking for a job. They're doing the job that client is looking to have filled. So therefore, they're never seeing that the client has that particular opening.
So what dimensional search does is go and find that hidden A player. They interest them in another opportunity. And so we find those unique individuals for our hiring managers to allow them to employ A players, top 10% performers to hit company goals. Now, there's a lot of solutions, obviously, we have for almost any people problem. But how about some revenue streams that our franchise owners can enjoy?
I think that this is one of the big value propositions that we offer in the industry. We're not just a permanent placement or executive search firm or direct hire, whatever you want to call it, that only places W-2 employees for kind of high transactional fees. We've also got this blended side of our business where we offer contract staffing solutions. We also offer consulting solutions. So the key to that, John, is that, you know, our franchise owners, when they're talking to a prospective client or an existing client, they've got a multitude of arrows that they can pull out of their quiver from a solution standpoint.
To solve multiple business problems. Now, let's jump into who we are, because I know we're a new concept, but we're not new to the franchise world. Matter of fact, SRAI, our holding company, Sanford Rose Associates International, is number 127 in 2023 on the Franchise 500. So who are we?
Well, and that's interesting too, because Sanford Rose has been around since the late 50s, John. And they've been franchising. Matter of fact, they were one of probably the first 3 big kind of firms out there, you know, to start in this recruiting and staffing space. And the principals of our organization, they bought that firm in 2012. And what they did was they kind of shifted their focus, right? I mean, most franchise organizations go after anybody that could be a potential, you know, franchisee for their organization. Well, what they decided is that they wanted to really focus on transitioning existing business owners from the industry into the Sanford Rose, you know, family, and then helping them build, grow, and scale. So it left a real void in the overall population of prospective franchise owners that could be a part of the SRAI system. Hence the formation of Dimensional Search in 2023. You know, and we'll talk a little bit more about kind of the nature and the dynamic and the synergistic relationship that exists between Dimensional Search and Sanford Rose. But, you know, a lot of what we do, and I think we do differently, falls under the professional services, if you will, that we provide to our franchise owners. And it's like wrapping them in this warm blanket of support, if you will. Everything from marketing communications to training to hiring, everything you could possibly imagine that you would need in starting up and managing an ongoing business moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's chat if we can, as I get my slide there, is the unique relationship between dimensional search and Sanford Rose. So this is really important.
This is something that I've never seen in franchising in my 35 years of being on either side of the franchise fence, franchisee, franchisor. As I mentioned, Sanford Rose was purchased by our company back in 2012. And the focus there is to really help existing business owners from the industry build, grow, and scale their organization. So that's just a small percentage of the population of people that could be business owners in our world. Hence, Dimensional Search being formed in 2023. What we really wanted to do was we wanted to be able to go after the rest of the population, those that were coming into the industry from outside the industry. So Dimensional Search is a place where people that don't have any experience in recruiting and staffing can learn the business. And we private label them to build their brand. And once we get them to a certain level of production, $300,000 is the mark internally, then what we do is we sort of figuratively shift them out from underneath Dimensional Search, the teach you how to do the business vertical, and underneath Sanford Rose, where now it's build, grow, scale your business all the way through conception and execution of exit strategy. It's phenomenal.
So the good
Never
news,
seen anything like this.
So the good news, Jeff, is that Dimensional Search teaches you how to do the business. Then once you learn how to do executive search, contract staffing to your vision, then we bring you over to Sanford Rose Associates, who has a track record of success at building, growing, and scaling existing search firms and staffing firms to their vision. It could be a $5 million firm, could be a $50 million firm. And if I believe this is true, Jeff, I don't think that's anything like that in the whole industry.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it, John. And to your point, real quick, and this is important, but to your point, over the 10 years that we've had, Sanford Rose, those franchise owners have been able to grow revenues by 1,500%. So
Yeah. And so we're not a small company by any means at 127 on the Franchise 500, but you're backed with industry veterans on average of 25 years or more experience, not only on the leadership team, on the training development team, the marketing communications that helps build websites, SEO, cadence, sales cadence programs, everything you can imagine, but from analytics to finance to people who actually hire for your team and train and develop the team that you bring on board. Let's jump, Jeff, because we're running out of time, to why. Why Dimensional Search over any other franchise opportunity that's there?
Multitude of reasons, John. I'll pick a handful. I'll pick a couple. You mentioned hiring and training. When you've got a franchise owner that's a producer, that's a revenue producer within an organization, or even not, one of the biggest time suckers, or two of the biggest time suckers or stealers, are having to hire people and then subsequently having to train them. We take 95% of that burden off that franchise owner's plate. We've got our own internal recruiters. They're not talent acquisition people. They're not HR people. They're internal recruiters. So they know how to find that, critical position, for your organization. And then once we get them on board, now we take over and we put them through the same 5-week facilitated training that we put our franchise owners through, because they're just learning the business. We could talk about flexible business models, and we'll talk a little bit about that in here. Multiple revenue streams, we've already mentioned that, but there's just a plethora of value proposition in terms of Dimensional Search.
Yeah, and before we go to the next slide, who's the perfect fit for a Dimensional Search franchise?
You know what? It's funny because I get asked that from my friends in the broker, the consultant, the franchise coaching community, and there's really two answers. Number one, it's probably them. It's somebody that does what they do, and it eerily mirrors, what our franchises do in terms of the work. But it's also a much broader answer than that, John. Over 30 years in the recruiting and staffing industry, I have seen franchise owners come in from every single imaginable industry and every job function, not just HR, not just sales, engineering, accounting, finance, IT. They come from everywhere. So unless there's someone that's absolutely deathly afraid to have conversations with other humans, they could be a fit for Dimensional Search.
And let me add this to that equation as well. There's not another franchise available that allows somebody to catapult from their professional career into superstardom in their new franchise business, Dimensional Search. Doesn't get any better than that. Now, real quickly, I know we talked why dimensional search. Is there a couple other bullet points you want to mention?
Well, again, I mentioned the training and I mentioned the hiring just to kind of give people sort of an understanding of what that looks like. Last year, we brought in, helped hire for our franchise owners, and then subsequently trained over 300 new employees for them. And you know how much it cost? Not a dime.
Not a dime.
Nickel. You know, and so that hiring, that training, that's absolutely critical. The other thing I think is worth mentioning is that the principles of our organization come from the franchisee world, not the franchisor world. And that's interesting to mention because, you know, they really walk this walk of creating a franchise that's designed around the franchise owner's experience. And I think that's what, you know, that's why we have a 95% retention rate when we only execute 5-year franchise agreements with our franchise owners. So it's incredible.
Another unique thing is our business models. That's unique among any franchise.
Yeah, I again been a part of a lot of different franchise organizations, John, and I think the one thing that makes us very, very different is that we don't taper, you know, want you to taper your vision to us, you know, and pigeonhole you into a particular business model. I mean, if you want to be an individual sole proprietor, that's fine. If you want to build a small business, that's fine. If you want to build a multinational, multi-unit global enterprise worth multiple millions of dollars every year, that's fine. It doesn't really matter to us. And as far as the office model is concerned, you know, the industry has traditionally said you have to have brick and mortar. Why? You know, if you want brick and mortar, you can have brick and mortar. That's fine with us. But if you don't, and you don't want to incur that additional upfront expense and ongoing cost, you can run this business successfully from your home office. Or you could run this business successfully if you want to get up, get dressed, and go to work every day. You can do it from a small office suite. It's entirely up to you. We taper our advice, guidance, counsel to your vision, not the other way around.
I love it. And then the coaching program that goes along with training, that's also a unique dimensional search trait where the one-on-one coaching, weekly one-on-one, holding somebody's hand, helping them get up to speed, and then build, grow, and scale. Share a little bit about that with us.
John, you know, I've always said that there are, there are 3 things that are the keys to success in our business. Number one, a business that has to be done. Customers don't come to you like a restaurant. This is a business that has to be done. Number 2, you follow the system, but that's kind of the same thing in all franchises. You should follow their secret sauce. But the third thing is, and this is where this comes in, is you got to stay plugged in. You know, Dimensional Search, Sanford Rose, we offer so much support. It's almost daunting. You know, from the onboarding process through initial training, ongoing coaching and mentoring, working with our marketing communications department to get, you know, your technology, and our IT department to get your technology up and running, to helping manage your social media platform. I mean, it's soup to nuts. I mean, it's a business in a box, to put it succinctly.
So our franchise owners feel very comfortable that we're with them all along the way, step by step, through the training, through the coaching, mastermind group. So they feel good that we're going to help them no matter what they run into to get up to speed as soon as they want to get up to speed. Now, cost, Jeff. What's this sucker cost?
Short and sweet, low burden of financial entry, $1,039 to $131,580. That includes the franchise fee of $88,000. I don't see, John, most people coming in at that top end, though.
I've never seen anybody there. But
yeah, that's your traditional brick and mortar model where you're having to have a lot of additional, upfront costs. I see most people coming in either working this business and managing this business and growing it from either a small office suite or from a home-based office. And then ongoing costs, I think this is just so critical.
This is the big deal right here.
It's a big deal. We're not going to be the lowest franchise fee out there, but you know what? We're going to have a tremendous amount of value for what you invest in us in terms of support from the beginning to ongoing. But ongoing costs, the only fee that we charge ongoing is the royalty. There's no marketing ad fund fee. There's no tech support fee, no database fee, no point of sale fee, nothing like that. It's just the royalty. That's it.
And Jeff, does the royalty ever go up or does it go down?
No, as a matter of fact, John, once we get our franchise owners in Dimensional Search up to that certain point of revenue generation where we transition them really sort of out from underneath the tutelage of Dimensional Search. And underneath that umbrella of Sanford Rose, the royalty goes down. It goes down from anywhere from 5.5% to start with on down to 1.5%. I've never seen anything that low.
Yeah, and all of our franchise broker partners, we are looking forward to helping you achieve your goals through your franchise brokerage firm, but we're also looking forward to helping all of your potential prospects to achieve their life vision through this beautiful franchise concept called Dimensional Search. I've been in the business for 25 years. I got in the business after 17 years in an industry. I've never experienced in my life such an incredible feeling of doing what I want to do, enjoying what I'm doing, achieve the life I wanted to achieve through this incredible vehicle of Dimensional Search. Final words, Jeff, for our franchise brokers.
You know, our partners out there, like you all, I mean, you're absolutely of the utmost importance to us. I mean, you're the reason why we can grow this franchise organization exponentially. And so would love to absolutely have an individual conversation, talk to you more about Dimensional Search and how we can help you grow your business while you help us grow ours.
Yeah, and one more thing, when you bring a prospect through that you bring through Dimensional Search, not only will they be excited about that, we share with them specifically how this franchise concept, Dimensional Search, can help them achieve their life vision. And we understand what that looks like before we get started. And we close a lot of deals, don't we, Jeff?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Thanks, everybody, and look forward to the conversation going forward. Enjoy.